All right. So we got the move down. The problem is, where is the Dow really going to go, and what's going to get us to, if we're going to come back up, what's going to get us to do that, at least. At least. Yeah, that's just the question. So, let me delete my other thing. Alright. So, we haven't officially displaced on the 4 hour yet, because we still need 2 more hours to close that candle, but on the 1 hour, we've got some little inefficiencies being created. We already had one on ES. We already had one on NASDAQ that's already been traded up into on both. And we have one here suddenly now on YM. Let's move that. This was that initial move down, but then we came all the way back up on that move, made a new low. NASDAQ did not, though. Yeah, so maybe that's where we should study. But Russell has kind of followed suit with the Dow. Very, very obvious strong pool of liquidity on Russell. The only question is maybe this is a setup on Russell. We'll see. It's not a BPR looking thing for me. Yeah, I was hoping this would be like a fair value gobble setup, but looks like it's just a set of relatively equal lows. Could still be used. But anyways, 1 hour. We got 40 minutes for this to officially create a SIBI, so we'll ignore it for now. 15-minute though, yeah, clearly we've shifted here, ended up taking it out. So it's looking like it needs to, well, we also have the higher time frame. So yeah, we just need to see more to get a feel for what the Dow is doing. And we need NASDAQ to take out this low, otherwise it seems like we could still bounce, except, you know, this usually isn't a viable area anyways, because London is just literally the last session, so we'll see. But Russell has taken out the session low. Maybe we've created, nope, we haven't. And where are we? We just kind of need to zoom out. So yeah, we created the SMT up there. We're selling off. I should have found a way to get short NASDAQ. I had it wrong, but it makes sense. This is what I needed to actually be informed about what's the right way to trade this. So this is fine. Luckily, it's like still playing out a little bit here on the Dow, so I could at least be break even. But yeah, everyone's below the new week opening gap so far. Clear pool and liquidity on Russell at the least. Another big pool down there. Daily. Yeah, daily's looking pretty big. 1 hour though. Oh wait, 4 hour. Let's look at the 4. So yeah, we have the major weakness here in NASDAQ. If this is really going to move high time frame, then a discount of this range is the first draw on liquidity for me. We created a change in character here to all-time high for these guys. And so for this move to expire, we would want to see NASDAQ, first of all, deliver its weakness, which maybe it already has, given a certain range. So relative to this range, it's obviously reached a discount versus the other charts. And then what we'd want to see is a manipulation, I think, of the Dow lower, like below specific level. So that would be a possible scenario to get out of this trade. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's this range, and then if not that, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll take the easy money first. Let's lock in the gains first. But for the Dow, just, structurally, let's just look here on the daily even. So yeah, we've got that daily BISI here, which is just the obvious first low. Other than that, maybe there's something with the adjusted contract. Same level. You know what? I forgot what this level looks like. Huh. So we did get a new high there with ES. Interesting. Maybe that's the chart to use then. So we had this high, it's the all-time high. When we sold off from it, this was the low taken. So SPY really came deep into a discount. And then we had perfectly the SMT strength. And this SMT was on a weakness. Boom, delivers. But this is like such a weird dynamic because NASDAQ also came deep. Didn't get that move up. ES delivers the strength. NASDAQ shows it's still weak. It's reacting to that pull liquidity we've already talked about. Changing character on the Dow. And that manipulation was literally taking out that high, wasn't it? Yeah, that's crazy. Where YM failed. So if it's weak, if it's going to be weak relative to ES, and like this is a, the SMT in play, and you have these charts in context too where they're different, but we still have this weakness versus ES. That's the other thing. So forget NASDAQ for now. We do have the manipulation with ES also in play. So far ES is definitely moving lower. We also had ES kind of being more into play with the Dow as that leg came down, whereas NASDAQ didn't. Came back up, didn't really take out a level, didn't really create any S&T, did we? Yeah. And so far, ES has actually come down much deeper. It's already taken out this low. So I think, yeah, we're waiting for the Dow to follow suit. So far, we've already taken out this low. We've literally come all the way down here, which is funny. That's where I have my runner. So this could really come down, I think, as a possibility. We had bear flows everywhere. We have commitment of trader reports coming down. We've got maybe a massive margin call on some silver players. Possible. You know, we're down 6%, taking back almost all of the move. Most of the move. Nope. Almost all of the move. Okay, yeah. Alright, but right now at 6:30, we're getting possibly that change in character on NASDAQ for maybe us to retrace. We've already had lots of NASDAQ weakness internally, and we're already delivering that. So I'm thinking here might actually be, but it's the same thing, because ES is coming down. Initially on that move, NASDAQ actually was the only one to come down. And then as we came back up, that's when YM did come down. But that's already sort of what's happened. Yeah. So this is like literally a repeat of this move here, I think. Same sort of logic. Yeah, because ES also came down originally, and then NASDAQ comes down, or YM comes down. But ES also comes down here. This is literally just like what happened here. Which means, yeah, YM may come all the way back up to retrace, which is going to suck. And it makes sense, we're into a level 2 that would do that. But I also just don't... We are into 6:30, but it's like been here for a while. So, and of course Russell's going deeper, that's expected, but it already did take out a pool, and it is still the level where we actually created the S&T here, because we never took out this AM low. But now we're weak taking out this stuff. There's just no news though. Is there any? Let's check. Yeah, we just got, I guess there's pending home sales at 8, but that's my time. So yeah, that's at, not till 10. And crude oil, what is that? Why is that a yellow folder? It should be at least an orange. So yeah, we don't have anything till after the open. And I just don't know if I trust this, because it was already happening prior to the 8:30 level. Right now it's the 8:30 level. We already had made this move prior to that. But that actually adds up, because that actually sometimes happens when news is offset off the 830. So we did sweep some equal lows. We manufactured this low on ES, and yeah, we are into some nice levels. Oh man. But we already did get that deep retrace. What happened here? Oops. So when we came down here, we already got the deep retrace here basically. And then this is kind of where we are now into here. You could say, this is what I'm saying. But then yeah, YM literally rips all the way back up, takes out all of the liquidity. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried it's gonna literally come up here, sweep out all these highs. But the problem is it never actually took out liquidity though here. We need to see it take out liquidity. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where it's not right, so. Yeah. Yeah, there are some variables here though. It's just the flows were bearish. We've made a bearish move. But YM has not really made it yet. But yeah, we could be just. This was a inverted. Is this? Why did it not have that marked down? This is a displacement above these highs. We've retraced it. So yeah, I could still want to hold this. And when you adjust the contract, it's also an inversion. Thing is though, when we got that divergence, we already moved down. That. Nasdaq looks like it wants to take out that low though. Yeah, I would not trust that as an S&T just because it's the London session. But yeah, this is like, quite the high resistance liquidity run if it's going to drop that low. So I think I'm looking at this area though. It's just the question, where is this going to go? And so far it hasn't delivered relative to ES at all. And ES was the one to also manipulate, even though all-time high. And Russell, Russell is setting up, but man. Yeah, I would think it's gonna come, down here, deeper into this order block, probably this order block. Is there anything here? Just an old new week opening gap. We've got maybe something on the daily. Nothing really on the daily. Just that, the new week opening gap. And even here on ES, yeah, look at this. We got this big pool of liquidity, you know. So, with a nice inefficiency. At least on the daily. So yeah, the target for ES is definitely, hopefully, into here, even maybe lower. For the bear side. Because we never retraced, you know. Yeah, and look at these relative equal lows here too. On SPY. And yeah, relative equal high pool. Yeah, I think this could really go deeper. YM though. Yeah, just seems like somewhere down here. Unless that's it. Unless this is like the change in character, maybe. But I don't know. I think I'm just being cautious. But definitely something happened here on Russell. What's the VIX at? Nice gap up on VIX. Big pool of liquidity, gapping up. Yeah, I would expect up into the order block. You know, it could come down, but eventually a real move up into there would make sense. VIX futures barely moving. That's weird. Maybe we just need to adjust it. Nope. Oh, it was already on adjusted, that's why. Okay. Well, weird, yeah, barely up. Whereas the VIX itself is way up. UVXY. Okay. I need to take a look at this high time frame everything. Alright. So, possibilities, discount of the weekly candle. The month closes in 2 days. There we go, NASDAQ just took the low. Let's get these little charts on here. Give me a 2 minute. But yeah, anyways, possibly, well, on the weekly, yeah, I would not want that there. I would think if it's going to bounce there, it's still going to come back down and take out that liquidity on the weekly. So all we did was create weekly liquidity there. So yeah, I would think we would go lower. And the next area there, oops, yeah, is the daily efficiency. And then did we ever reach a discount? That's the other question. Yeah, that was a discount. But if this is a range in play, which I think that's the range we're already into a discount on the other charts. Let's look right here. Yeah. So yeah, down into here. Which lines up with that order block. And that is down into 811 for 810. So yeah, we've officially, did we? Technically, it's still there, but it's equal, so don't care about it anymore. Alright, so yeah, I would think at least a discount of the range, you know. And that's actually kind of a similar area on ES here. Well, we're pretty close. But yeah, you would expect it to get below a discount, below that low. So, let's make sure that's the right low. Yep. And just symmetry wise, it just looks clean to, yeah, get down into there, take out this possible, you know, support resistance pool, whatever. Where's that on the weekly? To measure the weekly, yeah, it's down into there, maybe from there. But yeah, it's down into the 4 hour. This is probably the range that's actually in play though. This low. This real low. This one here. So if we're going to get to a discount on that, that's all the way below that low. Into the new week opening gap. Wow, that's very clean. That would make a lot of sense too, just symmetrical, symmetry wise. Yeah, there's no news, so I don't know if I trust using it. Where we're at with the 830 level, but yeah, maybe there's something with the this Russell situation here. We still are holding this low. We already created SMT, retraced more than 50%, giving this maybe a smooth high look, maybe on the higher time frame, not on the small time frame. Comes down, takes out that low, kind of change in character maybe, but the problem is just these very clean relative equal lows. So yeah, and just the time. So I think if anything, we're just going to set up some more shorts. I don't know. Yeah, Russell already into a discount. Just have such a big, so many obvious pulls. Alright, we're really moving down right now. There we go. It's past 8:32. So, yeah, would not want to be a buyer right now. Unless there's like, yeah, something here, but. Alright, ES is already hitting that pool. Wow, this is looking really weak. Which is great for me. I'm holding the strongest one. I really want this to move lower. I think, yeah, down into here. Wow, there we go. So yeah, Nasdaq's looking real heavy. I'm thinking we're coming down here, at the least now. We got a really nice pool of liquidity there too. We didn't even see that. Oops. Smooth highs and lows, support resistance, liquidity there. What the, didn't even get the actual high there. So yeah, really nice pool there. And then we got this big order block there. So I'll be watching that. Yes, into that same area that we were just looking at. I really like how weak YM's becoming now. So I'm going to take off these first partials right into this low though, just to lock in the gains. Let's make sure positions are managed correctly. Definitely moving my stop losses now to break even, so many of them.
Order working.
Still just shy of that low. Very perfectly equal low there. So that's probably as good as gone. Oh, Russell just took out that low though. Which means all that SMT stuff's out of the picture. What's happening on these charts? Yeah, still hasn't taken it. But ES still has that massive area here. This order box, that obvious draw for me now, on at least on ES. Dang. Yeah, we sold off right after the 8:30, so I think that was actually a short idea that was setting up, which is great, because now basically we should be in delivery mode until the open, which gives me 40 minutes, because I'm still waking up, still getting ready. So I'm gonna go make sure I'm ready for the open. But so far, looking good. I'd expect that to get taken.
Order cancelled.
Order submitted.
Order working.
Order cancelled.
Order cancelled. Order filled. Order filled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
Order submitted.
Order working.
Order filled.
Order filled.
Order cancelled.
Order cancelled.
Order cancelled.
Order cancelled.
Well, hell yeah, I took out the first initial big area. The problem though is we created a divergence there. Time isn't there for it really, but that's not something I'd want to fight against, even though it could still be taken out very easily. But we did that, and news is offset today, so this could very well be possible for a long. I'm not gonna long it, but you know, we did have some divergences there. Russell. Yeah, specifically because the news is offset. It's like that's what makes me concerned. We got 4 runners though left. Basically, the last quarter of my position.
Order working.
Take one more off. So yeah, we're kind of bouncing there. And yeah, ES hit the pool of liquidity. Russell, it doesn't need to go down there, but it, you know, it seems like it will. So we'll see. Just want to get one more runner out of my live account. Didn't realize it was a little bit. Yeah, anyways. Right. Let me check these other accounts. Looks like they're good.
Order filled.
There we go. Cool. Now I'm about exactly where I want to be size-wise. At least on my person. Yeah, there we go. Everything's looking great. We just dumped, took out that low. Let's see if we can get that low at least on Russell. Wow, there we go.
Order cancelled. Order working.
Now we're into that 4-hour order block. And I'm targeting a premium discount if we get it. At least of that range. Alright, whoops, that's not it. So yeah, just a bit lower, just down into this order block. It's probably going to go lower than that. It's probably going to come pretty deep, but yeah.
Order cancelled. Order working. Order working. Order working.
And that is at 8:10. So yeah, right into that level, just above it. That wick high is at 8:11. So perfect. Nice. Wow, YM's looking real weak here. Now let's see, I think Nasdaq would want this probably. But Russell's holding up there. Getting close to the open. And technically we are into that order block. If it is an order block. Oh wait, oh yeah, that's at that range. Okay. And I do kind of want to look for the next setup though, because there may be something here at the open, whether it's a long, maybe with this. You'd think though, you know, we've swept, but you would think it'd want to tap that order block on Russell. Yeah, Russell. And this isn't aligned with time, so that's the other thing. So yeah, it should, I think that this will keep going. But yeah, there could be a long here. Let's look for it. I think after the open. Nice, look at that. Nia still has that big pull down there too. Same with Nasdaq's got quite the cliff there. Yeah, it is going to be tough trying to look for a long or a short, because this is going to be very small time frame stuff. Everything's dipped though. Everything's dipped. So what kind of divergence could we look for? Well, maybe there's just no key levels. It just seems like, yeah, it's gonna be the delivery of the into a pool of liquidity. Or yeah, just some literally right into the open, some sort of divergence that's created. Possibly a manipulation of the AM session. Right into the open, maybe NASDAQ sweeps these highs. I don't know. We've already reached a possible objective though, so that's the thing. It could just be a long manipulation into a long. Open is in 6 minutes. Well, yeah, Russell eliminated that low now. So yeah, maybe there is going to be a long ride into the open. Watch for the logic. It's just hard when the high time frame is changing as we speak. The 4 hour is clearly displacing on NASDAQ. And yes, we could just stall out here or whatnot, but this move here on ES2, it's like, it could just keep going, or it could be possible. Problem is, if we're going to long it, it's going to be a small time frame SMT, and it's like we're in a high time frame situation, so it's like lower probability. We'd want to see, if we're going to actually trust a long, we'd want to see like, you know, a higher time frame setup. Same thing with even the Dow. I would think that if we're going to set up for a reversal in any of the other guys, it would be a bit higher time frame move, like here on ES. Maybe with like a discount into the range, whereas ES doesn't. That could be it, but for using this one, I just think it's kind of irrelevant. That's just a random level. I think we should be using this. What is this wick right here? There's this major low. Just below that, there's that big hourly candle, which is basically just the lows of the consolidation. Okay. I was thinking it's gonna keep running deeper, or manufacture a setup from the AM into the 10:30 or the 10 o'clock news. We are getting a divergence, so it opens in 1 minute. Maybe we're gonna get like, yeah, a nice sweep lower, and that's a long. We are into some pools of liquidity on ES and stuff, so even on the regular index charts. And yeah, it would make sense to manufacture that level at some more. So, but we'll see. Wow, big move up on the Dow. Wasn't really an SMT. Let's include that before the open. So yeah, this might be the short, but it's happening before the open. Alright, so big move up. Looks like it's a manipulation. We've taken out all these smooth highs. ES hasn't. Nasdaq's selling off. Russell's dipping down into the order block or close to it. I think it'd want deeper though. I mean, there's an SMT just into the open. Just a divergence. Dang, yeah. I almost went short. Whoa, Russell's really ripping. Whoa. Wow, I might get stopped out. That's crazy. Well, dang. That's surprising. But it's taken out this morning's 8:30, which was somewhere in here. Yeah, so there you go. It's hard to keep track of all of it. It's happening so fast. Yeah, they took out the 8:30. That's basically all I wanted to do. so far now we're kind of manipulating with NASDAQ and ES, since YM is already selling off. I'm thinking maybe the order block. Flows are kind of mixed. How many points is that? Where is it? It's right above 59, so we'd be risking 5 points on 525. Ooh, yeah, if Russell can manipulate that high. Flows are bullish. They're still bearish on SPY though. Oh, we just took out the 830. Huh. Yeah, maybe things are just bullish now then. Took out the whole 830 level. Weird. I moved my stop to the wick high. It's like I don't trust this anymore. If it's gonna take out the high again, it's probably just gonna keep ripping. But Russell did manipulate over that high, so maybe there's something there. Doesn't look like it anymore, but maybe. Maybe you'll get lucky. You just think if there's going to be a long, we'd want to create a clear SMT at the lows. So, and we technically did here with the highs right here. It's just, we must be going for that London high. Which makes me want to actually adjust my stop for the London high. flipping bearish again. Didn't take out the London high. Russell got really close. But maybe it was just a premium play. Premium, and then we've got the S&T there. Otherwise, yeah, maybe in London, I don't know. It wasn't like a clear divergence at the lows, really. So I kind of want to see NASDAQ get above London and YM to kind of hold weak, and then YM in the smaller time frame manipulate. But so far we've just manufactured relative equal highs at the London high. That divergence with Russell's still there, which may be the top, all on its own. Yeah, I think now this low is just the next target, the low we made today. Man, this is a very fast moving day. This is a 15-second chart, dude. It's like a 15-minute chart. Alright, there we go. So the Dow did sweep below this low, whereas Russell didn't, so that might have just been it for that, and we may be going for the London high now. But I'd want to see some bear flows. SPY right now is bearish, but the tide is bullish, though it could easily flip. It's already pretty heavily flipping. Q Holdings is bearish, very bearish, but the actual Qs is bullish. So yeah, I think I'm gonna let this breathe maybe to the London high possibly. If it's looking like we're gonna come up here and trigger the short idea. Let me zoom out. So now we've got smooth lows here on NASDAQ. I know that SPY level is still there too, but it's not as clean and yeah, it's still there. Wow, the Dow's being really weak here. It may just be a long though. Like if we come down and the Dow does sweep this out and these guys just haven't taken out the London, I would actually want to go long. So we'll see. Good thing we took off all that size, eh? Wow, look at that massive wick on YM. Look at that, that's crazy. think my runners might be good, man. We'll see. Oh wait, no, yeah. That this long might be ready. And Russell never took out a level, you know. So this might be the higher time frame SMT I was literally just talking about. All right, Dow's really coming in hot. Everything else is holding up very strong. Things are flipping bearish, but they're not like extremely bearish. Let's see relative flows. Yeah. Not a lot of flow yet, so let's compare to yesterday, or sorry, Friday's flow. Friday's flow. Q's got some nice flow, and it's bullish, but it's still green, so of course it's bullish. Holdings very bearish though, so kind of tricky one here. And that also could have been it. It could have just been this AM manipulation, you know?
Order cancelled.
Nice. There's got one runner left on my main account and two little runners on my day trading account. And that might be the SMT though. We just took out the low, you know. So we'll see how far it's going to go here. Oops. It'd be funny if the Dow takes out a huge level. Just make sure I only got this one order going out. Orders working. We got a stop and a limit. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this looks like it could be long, man. So many things happening today. It's just hard to be flexible mentally. Hughes is bullish, but Holdings is bearish, dude. It's mixed. It's mixed. And that could have just been the short continuation, you know. It's a tough one. But that Russell move, I mean, that looks like a very nice, smooth high long area. Alright, let's just get back into the groove here. Lows, mixed. Qs, Holdings, bear, bull. Yeah, it's just so mixed. Can't tell. But technically on the chart, that is a long setup. But it also is the short. Just huge manipulation. Oh, and we got the 10 a.m. news too, I forgot. So news is in 12 minutes. I think everything just wanted to reach into a premium. I think that's it, and then we had the AM manipulation. I think that's it. We did hit a discount there relative to this range, but I just don't even think that's the right play. I think it is gonna dig much deeper. I think this new week opening gap here might be the draw. Because even Russell kind of delivered onto that laid down. That's typically the minimum target for these fair value gobble looking setups. And it basically perfectly hit that wick, as you count that as the order block. Yeah, I don't know. It's just could be long though. And we manufactured that London high, perfectly relative equal highs on at least Nasdaq. Nasdaq dug really deep, and now we've got the manipulation lower. Yeah, I feel like I should just get out this runner, lock in, feel good about that. Risking like, yeah, it's only worth it if it, was back into that entry or the exit area. Well, tide is turning bearish. Q's is still holding bullishly, but yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm better off just not taking any more trades. It's just moving so fast. It's like I gotta come in with a plan. I'll get chopped up trying to come up with one on the spot. Yeah, I think I should see the move up as a manipulation for more shorting. There wasn't like a clear long setup. I've already taken out that low though, so now there is a long setup. But if that was a manipulation, the long setup's just going to be like a retrace, possibly. Well, we'll see. It's weird that YM is being so strong. You know, it's like took out liquidity. I mean, that is the exact S&T you want to see for reversal. But now all the flows are bearish. What the heck? So except Q's. Q's is holding up really bullish. SPY is bearish though on all fronts. All right, 5 minutes to the news. So now the catalyst will be there. Flows are very bearish on SPY and continually bearish. And both in the money, out the money puts. Now that we've made this low, that could trigger the smooth low deeper move. We'll see. What else is going on? Silver down 10% almost. It was down 10% at one point. Index charts. Ooh, nice support resistance liquidity on this now. DIA. There we go, I like that. Nice support resistance liquidity there, so yeah, probably will go deeper there. Still got the draw on liquidity on SPY maybe. Smooth lows. Relative equal lows on IWM. I'm going to zoom out here and see if there's anything tapped into that. Yeah, not much. We rebalance this to make it so that it's not a nice displacement. Same thing on the 1 hour for the Dow. Completely rebalance that. And yeah, did it, all of it. So it's really making it look weak on the way down, which supports the long side. But now that we've taken it out, we have not come down, which doesn't necessarily mean we will. 15-minute chart's been completely rebalanced on the bull side too. Wow, look at that on the Russell. So yeah, could just be coming down. We even rebalanced this 5 minute. Not completely though. So if this is going to respect that, that should give us a nice big leg, I would think. We did sort of invert that on NASDAQ too. Alright, we got that 10 a.m. news in a minute. Russell's down. Flows are all bearish right into the news here. At least on SPY. Q's, yeah, not clear. It's mixed on both. So the immediate term though is bearish. Alright, news right in the next 20 seconds. Let's see what happens here. It may not even be big news, but I'm thinking it is with all the flows here. At least a small catalyst. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a big ask to look for that deep move all today, you know. So maybe just too aggressive of a runner. It's just we really did accumulate those highs, so if there is going to be a big move, I mean, that makes sense. But these guys did come below this low into the news, manipulating. This wasn't at a key time. It's kind of right at the edge of it. We're very zoomed in, I just realized that. But now we are into a time. So if we're going to manipulate that low, I don't. Man, with the flows though, it's bearish. They're not. They're pretty bearish, but we are below the opening price, so of course they're bearish. Is anything getting increasingly bullish though? No. Technically, we didn't take the low out. I'm risking like $70 of profit to make another $70. Is that worth it? Not really.
Order cancelled.
Order submitted.
Order working.
Did we just take out the low? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
Order submitted.
Order working. Order filled.
Order
Order
canceled.
cancelled.
Order
Order cancelled. Order working. Order filled.
Perfect.
Order cancelled.
Everything's closed out. Let's make sure all these orders are filled. Counts, positions, no positions. Working, no working orders. Yeah, that was good enough for me. I just think that it still could be long now that we've got news aligned with the level. And yeah, the flows are bearish, but of course they're bearish. So we've just made a nice move down. So yeah, this could be a long, but I'm not gonna long bear flows, especially after so much has changed in the price. So we just gotta be patient, come up with a nice plan. Yes, I still think it could go lower, but I also think it could bounce. And the way the SMT's been working has been very tricky. So we've got to nuance out what really even happened there too. So a nice like 5R. I was only risking like $150 on my main account, so that's, yeah, it's like 5R. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there. Wish I could have obviously been bigger, you know, but it was a tricky, very tricky play up there. Hindsight, I can see things, so I think it'll be more important for me to do a review right now than to try to force the trade that may or may not be there. Alright, adios.